Welcome to this video, and my attempt here is a response to some questions that have been raised about how to get past 90 days and also what to do if you have an unintended ejaculation. So let's start with the idea of an unintended ejaculation. First of all, we must say in all humility, we're all just men, and whether or not we intend to ejaculate, our bodies are constituted such that we can ejaculate. Once again, I intend to retain my semen. So that means that if a man takes that position, I intend to retain my seed, and then that man ejaculates, okay, then we must admit that is an unintended ejaculation. An unintended ejaculation, yes, but it was very much in keeping with that man's potential. That is to say, we should not relate to an unintended ejaculation with some kind of extremely out of the ordinary happening. By the same token, I am certainly not suggesting that we should be frivolous with ejaculation, and as you may know, if you've been watching this channel for any amount of time, you very likely know that I wish for any man to be able to retain his semen for long periods. And I certainly do not wish an unintended ejaculation on anyone, on any man of any age. So I do take this seriously, the phenomenon of an unintended ejaculation. But that being said, understand that an ejaculation is something that your body is capable of, but for good reason. God made you able to put a baby into a woman. Wow, that's amazing. That's pretty amazing. So we should recognize the sacred beauty of the potential that is in our seed. Just contemplating that. Now, yes, in order to maximize your potential as a man, you must let that seed remain within you, if you will, dying to the sexual urge, such that that seed can give rise to new life within you. That's what we're here for. And what's necessary in order for that to take place is something in Greek called metanoia, which means spiritual or noetic transformation. So in order for spiritual transformation to take place, and spiritual transformation must become a way of life for a man who wishes to retain his seed, and to do so in a good and life-creating, life-affirming manner, we should say what metanoia, what is spiritual transformation, in essence, or at least what is its beginning. And both its beginning and its continuation, as I see it, now I will just quickly quote the American philosopher Werner Erhard, who said the beginning of authenticity is to be authentic about your inauthenticities. Forgive me. To be authentic begins with being authentic about your inauthenticities. So what is it to be authentic? Well, very simply, to be authentic is to be and to act in keeping with who you hold yourself out to be for yourself, and to be and to act in keeping with who you hold yourself out to be for others. Who do you claim to be for yourself? And who do you claim to be for others? To be authentic is to be and to act in keeping with who you claim yourself to be for yourself, and to be and to act in keeping with who you claim yourself to be for others. So when you're authentic about your inauthenticities, it means you're willing to admit your shortcomings. You're willing to admit where you have not been being and acting in keeping with who you claim you are to yourself, and be authentic about how you have not been being and acting in keeping with who you hold yourself out to be for others. So we're talking about way of being, which is an internal reality, a character, a manner, even a pattern of thinking. Before you get into the realm of acting, examine your being. Before you look at what you do or even how you feel, look at how you think. Are your thought patterns and your behaviors in keeping with who you hold yourself out to be for yourself? Are your thought patterns and behaviors in keeping with who you hold yourself out to be for others? That's authenticity. To admit those shortcomings, that's the beginning and also the continuation of a life of spiritual transformation. Again, the Greek word is metanoia. So in order to recover from an unintended ejaculation, let's say a man intended to retain his semen, and for whatever reason, he had an ejaculation that was unintended by him. Okay. Take care of the body. The body needs rest. The body needs food. The body needs sleep. The body needs sunshine. It needs water. It needs exercise. And it needs these things in the right proportion. So sustaining the body respectfully, which is also where skillful medicine comes into play, is very important. We are not merely souls or spirits. We are incarnate. We're in flesh. So respect the flesh. Respect your body. The physical reality of your body must be respected and treated well. yes, even as sacred. Let the body heal. Also, do not think that you were so good that an ejaculation was impossible for you. Don't think that an ejaculation was impossible for you. Don't think of yourself more highly than you should. Instead, go ahead and be authentic, which begins by being authentic about your inauthenticities, which means look at your shortcomings this way. Look at where your way of being and your acting are not in keeping with who you hold yourself out to be for yourself. And look at where your ways of being and acting are not in keeping with who you hold yourself out to be for others. This now sets into motion a life of spiritual transformation, a life of metanoia, as I said, using that beautiful ancient Greek word. That is the way of life which semen retention potentiates. That means you're retaining your semen so as to defeat the passion of fornication and live a life of loving kindness. This means a life of gentleness. It means a life of service. It means a life of doing what you're meant to be doing for the greater good. All of these things must be your concern, must be your consideration, if you would live a life defined by sexual continence as a man. If you wish for a life of semen retention, you must become a philosopher. You must look at your life in a spiritual sense. Your moral compass is what semen retention potentiates. It potentiates your fullness, your goodness, your prosperity, your happiness, your virtue, which is to say your power. So look at, what is that like? What does that ask of you? What does it mean to live a life of purpose for you? To you, what does it mean to live a life of service? What is that like? Have a look at that right now, if you will. Even while you're watching, maybe, you can contemplate, what am I here for? What was the reason that I was born? And if you begin to feel into a sense of that, authentically and truthfully, inside of yourself, you will begin to know what semen retention is about for you. But on the other hand, if you don't have a sense of your higher purpose, if you don't have a reason to be here on the earth in a body that you're conscious of, that you're pursuing on a daily basis, then semen retention, especially going well beyond 90 days, is not necessary or meaningful for you. It doesn't mean that you have to ejaculate. It just means that you're, if you will, you're filling up the car with a full tank of gas, or you're trying to, and then you're saying, well, I don't know what's going to happen with the car. If I ever want to go anywhere, I don't know. That's not really what cars are for. When you fill up a car with a tank of gas, it's to go somewhere. When you retain your semen, it's so that you can become who you're meant to be. And you must seek, you must be in an inquiry as a true philosopher, which means a lover of wisdom. Who am I? Who am I meant to be? Who am I meant to become? And then who am I being? Who am I becoming? Is the man I am becoming like the man I am meant to be? And what can I do about that in my way of being and in my acting? So these are good considerations to allow you to retain your seed meaningfully, such that your sexual continence, your semen retention, is supportive of the greater good, is supportive, in fact, and in truth, of your very destiny. I hope these considerations are useful wherever you find yourself. Please be patient with yourself, even indulgent with yourself, like a mother with a child. You must treat yourself that way. And to take yourself on a long journey of semen retention is nothing less than to take yourself into the very truth of your life by grace, one day at a time. This requires looking with the very highest kind of value system that you can conceive. This means nothing less than selflessly contributing in the way you were meant to contribute. This means to give that gift that you are meant to give, whatever it may be, in your humility, in your ordinariness, in your exactly who you are and no one else, in precisely the station where you find yourself and in no other station. That's what this life of semen retention is really about. It's about becoming exactly who you're meant to be, one day at a time, moment by moment by moment. And your sexual potency is a very powerful means to that end, but you must begin with that end in mind. For if you have that end in mind, then we can make a good beginning. All of us here together continually making a good beginning. And may we continue with the hope of a good ending. Thanks again for watching and listening. And I look forward to seeing you when I see you, hopefully soon. Bye for now.